Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. Super excited for you that you're about to make a major change in your life. Good for you. I love change. You know what's really funny is when I was in the military, they totally said that I had what is it? Adjustment disorder, which is hilarious because I'm like the most like I have moved 41 times in my life. Okay. If I can't adjust, that's funny. That's funny. Oh my gosh. Anywho, so I made a decision last night. I decided that it was time for me to open up the door and start allowing people back into my life. I have been in hermit mode for a very long time, almost 5 months now. And a lot of it has been um, cautious because I knew that I had a lot of healing I had to do. I had 40 years of trauma to go through. And I didn't really need anybody else in my energy while I was doing that. I didn't need to be focusing on anybody else. And so I closed myself off. And it wasn't like in a bad way, totally like necessary. Like when we go inward is when we can do the best work. And so I did. And yesterday, was actually 8/1/2025, which is 9 and 9. So it was the end of the cycle and time for me to open myself up to the next phase. So the very first thing that I did when I decided to do this was I wrote myself a to-do list for cleansing energy. And there were 8 things on this list, but we're only going to talk about 7 of them. Okay. Before I started, I sat with my vision in my mind. What I want out of this life, what I want to do, what I want to give back, my purpose, my mission, how I see myself basically on my deathbed. Like, what have I accomplished? Not necessarily accomplished, but what have I done? What have I given back? Because it's about what I did to help, not about what I gained, but what I did to help. And I held that in my mind for a moment. And then I looked at it. Okay, these are the 7 things that I did to open myself up and cleanse out the energy. Okay, number 1, I listed the red flags. Now, in my particular situation, this is about opening myself up to start dating again. So I looked at the red flags of every single one of my relationships. And then I looked at the green flags, everything that I enjoyed about my relationships. Carefully, we don't necessarily want to look back with nostalgia so much as I enjoy having someone who likes my jokes, that kind of thing. Okay. Next, I looked at myself and I looked at the boxes that I placed myself in that ended me up in these kinds of relationships over and over and over again. The limitations I placed upon myself. For example, I'm broken or I'm crazy. And then I completely and totally like scratched them out and affirmed the opposite. This removes those images of yourself. If you have to like go like super duper heavy on the ink on the crossing out, do it. If it's easy for you to just X and then write the affirmation, do that. But make sure you are telling yourself, this is not true. I remove this limitation from myself. Okay, verbalize it. Super duper helpful, I promise. Then after we've removed the limitations, now we can look at what do I bring? What do I bring into this? No idea why I just suddenly yawned. Okay. What do I bring into this situation? What is it that I have to offer? I've removed my limitations, right? What do I have to offer? And then I went through and I wrote down, what do I want? Now, I was not like, oh, I want someone who has, blah, blah, blah hair and eyes and, a six-pack abs. And I didn't focus anything, as a matter of fact, on the looks, because this is limiting. Understand that when you are writing this out, you are telling the universe what it is that you want, not just yourself. You're telling the universe what it is that you want. You are manifesting this into reality. And if you get like super duper like detailed about like the looks and stuff like that, you're limiting the universe. Sounds like it's raining, but it doesn't look like it's raining. Weird. Okay, and then make sure you write also what you do not want. Be specific. What is it that you don't want? You have your list of red flags and your list of green flags. So you know exactly what it is you liked about the relationship. But do not bring the past into this, right? Just because, you like the way somebody laughed at your jokes in the past doesn't necessarily mean it's something you want in the future. For me, totally is. I want somebody to think my dad jokes are the most brilliant thing in the world. Because I think they're the most brilliant thing in the world. I love dad jokes. British comedy is awesome. I'm sorry, don't care if you don't like it. Ab Fab is one of my favorite shows, and the British version of The Office is my favorite version. I don't know. And if you've never seen Fawlty Towers, that's a funny show. Anyway, okay, so and then the last thing, how does this support your goal? For me, it wasn't just how does a relationship support my goal, but how would the counterpart support my goal? For example, for me, like I want to be a motivational speaker, but I don't require my counterpart to be in the audience. That's not what I require. I would love it if at like 2 a.m. the night before my speech, like I don't necessarily wake them up, but like, that would be me. But they helping me, hey, listen to my speech really quick. Will you please tell me if this is okay? Or, right before I post a new course, looking over the latest handbook, telling me if there's any typos or if there's anything that I should add or if something's not clear, that kind of thing. Helping me by supporting me. How does this support your goal? If you're looking at it like from the perspective of a new job, a new career field, if you require specific amounts of time to do something else, how would this job be able to support you being able to do that? Or is this on the line to your goal? For example, if you are starting a new career in like any kind of like, I want to say soft science, like the social or psychological sciences, and you legit want to be like a social worker and you're getting ready to get into a career that's going to allow you to do that. How does this support your end goal? What is your end goal? We're not going to just stop at social worker, right? Is your end goal like social worker of the year or something like that? Whatever your end goal is, how does it support you getting there? Okay. I think that is all. Oh, I did go one step further. Just because the fact that mine had to do with opening myself up to a relationship, I actually I took from my what do you bring to this, and I actually wrote a letter It is my vow to my divine counterpart. I wanted to be sure that I wrote down what I will do, but what I won't do to myself. Um, let me see, like this. For example, my first promise to you is unconditional divine love. I am fully yours, but understand what this means. I love you as you are in every moment, but I love you too much to watch you backslide or stagnate. Growth is always mandatory. Breaks, of course, are necessary, and I will not make excuses for patterns. I will point them out in a gentle and loving way, but I will not let them slide. I love you too much. Next, I love myself more. This is not in an egoic way, but a genuine love kind of way. I will not allow myself to be misused in any way. Boundaries will be set by both of us, and we will both respect and honor those boundaries. This is like, I don't necessarily think you have to do this, but this would be a very good thing for you to do. Maybe not necessarily if you're doing this like for a career change, like write this to yourself, a promise to yourself. I will not allow myself to stagnate in a job that drains my soul. Okay. I will not sell out myself to blah, 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 blah. Okay. Make a promise, a vow to yourself if you're not doing this for a relationship. Okay. I hope you guys had a wonderful day and you're going to have an even better night.